Welcome to the QRTX tutorial videos. Today we will be discussing the self-audit feature of QRTX right here. To begin, we have to make sure that we have saved in our QRTX folder our inventory, our latest inventory, saved as inventory.xlsx. If you need help downloading and importing this inventory, please visit the how-to tutorial video, Inventory Import. To begin, we go to the main menu, Parts menu, Inventory Tools menu, and Self-Audit. For written instructions, press the question mark, and we have some instructions here if you need to reference these later. We press the self-audit and it opens up as a blank form. If there is an audit in progress, it will be shown here. When necessary, press the Start New button, and this will import the latest inventory to be counted. We see here in the audit entity that it's not my entity number. So let's press Start New again to get the entity correct. The import did not happen correctly, so we'll just press Start New one more time and it imports correctly. Using the QRTX self-audit tool has many advantages. It streamlines many of the aspects of doing a self-audit and can save a considerable amount of time. As we see, there are different reports that QRTX will compile for us based off our self-audit. These can be very helpful when trying to correct any discrepancies or turn in your audit to your manager. QRTX self-audit tool is also compatible with most scan guns. So let's go ahead and close QRTX self-audit tool and connect our scan gun. So let's make sure that our scan gun is working properly. Let's just open up Parts Search. As it says, it's imported the driver. So we'll click in the search window. We'll do a test scan of a part number. There we go. Our scan gun is working. So let's go ahead and close this and go back to our self-audit tool. As we see, the self-audit saved our audit from the previous session. This is useful if we need to take a break from our audit and close down and do other things and pick up another time or another day. If necessary, we can just press Start New and it'll delete the existing audit and import your inventory for a fresh audit. So let's do that now. Start New. There we go. So let's start scanning parts and see how we do with our audit. Make sure that we have our cursor in the Enter Part window for this to work. There we go. So the first part was scanned in. The on-hand balance of what the company says that we should have is 2. What we actually have, what we scanned, is only 1, leaving us a difference of a -1. So we go back up here, and I have the second part with me, so let's scan that one. Now we have an on-hand balance of 2, which is what we are supposed to have. what we actually counted, and the difference is 0. So let's go back here and scan the next part. Very good. We got on-hand balance of 1, actual 1, difference is 0. Now if we count something twice by mistake, we now have a discrepancy. On-hand balance of 1 is what we should have. We actually have 2. The difference is a positive 1. We catch our mistake, so we want to correct this. We can enter the part number here and then press the delete button. And this deletes and brings us back to where we should be. Deletes the extra part. Let's scan our next part. This part's not in the inventory. So it is asking, do we want to add this part to the inventory? This happens when there is a part that was shown used by mistake and we still have it. Sometimes an old part gets left in the inventory and wasn't returned or thrown away, and that can be counted as a new part by mistake. This will help us catch those mistakes. Do you want to add this part to the inventory? Well, looking at the box, looking at the part, it is a new part, brand new, so I must have shown it used by mistake. So let's say yes. There we go. We see it added down here. What we're supposed to have is on-hand balance is 0. What we actually have, the difference is a +1. So when we run our discrepancies report later, we will see a +1, meaning that we have an extra part that was not in our inventory to begin with, but now is. We can return this into our manager for an on-hand balance adjustment. Now if we have a part that we scan in that's not part of our inventory and we look at it, it's still usable to us. Maybe it's a cannibalized part or a part that we of an assembly that we've still has a good gear on it or something that we want to save for later. Do you want to add this part to the inventory? No, I do not, because it has no value in returning to the company, so I press no. Do you want to add this part to found parts? I would like to add this to my personal inventory of found parts. That way, if I'm searching for a part, I know that I have a cannibalized part here that I can use. Press yes, and this opens up the cannibalized recovered parts window. So here I can add the part to the found parts right here. Scan that one in, and I'm going to keep this one in my trunk. It's cannibalized, yes. Returnable, no. I save this and close and return to my self-audit. So let's go ahead and continue our audit, and once it's complete we will return and show you how to use the different reports. Okay, now that we have completed our inventory count, let's compile this and see how we did. Let's start by looking at the discrepancies report right here. Click on this. It counts up everything that we have. Okay, so these 4 parts are not the same as what we should have. This could be because they're missing, could be because we have extra parts, or perhaps we just miscounted. So let's take this list and see what we did. I went back and I rechecked this part number, and sure enough I do have 3 of those. So come over here, enter that part number, press enter. Now I have 3 and 3. That corrects that discrepancy. This part number here I went back and did a double check, and sure enough, I overcounted. I only have one of those, but I counted two. We see I counted two, but I'm only supposed to have one. So this was a mistake. I counted twice the same part. So I'm going to put that part number here in this box and then press delete. And that corrects that error. So now it's 1 and 1. I did the same thing with this part number. Somehow I counted 3 of those when I only had 2. I must have scanned one twice. So I'm going to put that part number in here, delete it, and bring it back to the actual, back to where it's supposed to be. And same with this one. This one, I actually had 2 parts. One was a used box. So I need to correct this. So let's get this part number and put this in here and delete the used box that I counted and get that back to an on-hand balance of 1, actual of 1. Let's close this and look at our discrepancies one more time. Perfect. There is no discrepancies, no extra parts, no missing parts. So let's save this. In this complete report, we can open now, and it tells us our inventory value, what we are expected to have, and the difference. For example, let's just take this part number, and we are going to modify it so you can see how the complete report looks. Let's say I don't have this part, for example. Complete report. We see that we have our inventory value, the actual inventory value, what we're expected to have, and the difference. So it's a 1.45% difference. Pass or fail at, or greater or lesser than 5% of our inventory. So this would still be considered a pass. If we look at the discrepancies report, we can see that this part is a $100 part. So we are missing this part at that value. But because the value of the inventory is well over $7,000, the percentage is only at 1.45%. So having a part like this missing because it was damaged or it was lost or it was used but not reported used, whatever the case may be, will add into this percent variance by percent. And remember, the pass or fail is greater or less than 5%. So let's go ahead and close this. And let's put this back where it is supposed to be. And we'll run the complete report again. Perfect inventory audit. 0% variance. So from here, if you'd like, we can save this as a PDF. We can save it as an Excel file. We can print it. We can even email this to our manager if we would like. Now, if we are going to do an official audit for the company, you can press the export here button. We press this, and this is our audit report. It gives us our actual audit of everything we counted, and if we save this as an Excel file, save it in the QRTX folder, audit export report, if we save that, let's open this up. Let's go into QRTX folder, find our audit report. This is the format that the company wants us to put our audits in. The next thing we want to do is highlight all of this field, copy these, open up our official audit Excel spreadsheet, go to Current Request tab, and then we have this format here. They want us to enter our entity number, item number, quantity on hand. Get this first box, Control V, inserts all of that we copied from our QRTX audit. We press Validate. There it is, no errors found. Save the spreadsheet as a final copy, yes. Give it a name, it saves to the desktop. Hit continue. Close all this out. Save. We go to the desktop, and there is our audit. And this is what gets sent to the company for an official audit. Close all this out. No longer need it. So there you have it. How to use QRTX self-audit. Thank you for watching. Feel free to leave your questions, suggestions, and ideas in the comment section below. If you would like to see more of these videos, please support this channel by pressing the subscribe button.